people who I want to appeal to
Make those little slips. It happens.
you have to have a plan, ability to manage your problems effectively.
How are you going to do it? Fall off the horse? Jump right back on.
And welcome back. And of course, as was promised earlier in the show, it is time for Bruk It Dong, Miss Jenny.
Morning.
Good morning. Excited about today's segment?
Yes, I am. We got a number of questions.
Yes, and I want to throw out at this time that remember, we are taking questions on any topics, so just go ahead and contact us and we'll try to include them in the show.
Yeah.
So let's talk about why you selected the ones we'll be doing today.
Well, I thought that a couple of them sort of carry on from what we did the last segment.
Yeah.
You know, about settling. People settling in a relationship rather than setting your expectations and then expecting for those expectations to be met. And I just don't believe that women need to settle because we've been sold a lie about the shortage of men and guys, I think, sorry guys, but I think you all play on that. You know, and so women settle.
Well, with that kind of introduction, we better just get started. So if you feel that maybe we touched a touchy topic there about settling, you definitely want to pay attention to this. And our first question for this morning says, I am in a relationship with my boyfriend for over 10 years. He knows that I want to be married, but has not proposed, and even said if I want to be married, I should help him save for my ring. Will he ever marry me?
Good question.
I
mean, 10 years is a long time, Marlene. I don't know if she says in a relationship, I don't know if they're living together or if they are, dating, in a dating relationship or what kind of relationship.
Well, we know it's probably serious. I mean, typically in Belize, it's just talking serious relationship. A lot of people do move in after a while. Yeah.
I remember growing up and I used to say, why would a man go look for, buy the milk after he's purchased the cow or after he don't get a cow? You know? I remember hearing that all the time, which was one of the reasons they told you not to get involved in living with somebody because then there was no commitment, right? But the reality is that now women do move in and live with someone.
Yeah.
But I don't, it's a lie that's been sold to women. All right, that we need. If we have a man, and I hear so many of my friends say this, before none any. And if you have a man, hold on to him because the prospects are so slim out there. You might not ever find a man. Right?
I've heard both. Yeah, I've heard that before none.
Yeah.
In other words, don't be by yourself. Just be with someone.
Anybody.
Yeah, anybody.
Yeah.
It's a scary concept.
It's a scary thought.
Yeah. And don't leave because there's nobody else out there.
Nobody else out there. And it's a lie. You know, we might in our heads be saying or believing what's been fed to us that, oh, there's a man shortage out there. And maybe there is or maybe there isn't. I don't know. But the point is, when you've got your life cluttered up with somebody for 10 years who is not moving backwards or forward, you don't have any room for anybody else to even make an offer to you. You know, and I like to tell my young clients, if you miss the bus going to Sunny Nasi or going to Dangriga, if you miss one bus, what happens in half an hour?
Another one comes along.
Another one comes on. And it may be an air-conditioned bus with nice seats. You don't know what's going to come along, but you have to have the opening for something else to come along. And what comes along generally will be better. Okay, and I just don't want women to settle now. 10 years?
Yeah, is it? Well, two things are really jumping out at me. One, is it necessary that every relationship has to end in marriage? Times have changed significantly, and a lot of people just don't feel it to be a priority to be married? Is
But
it a
she
lack
does.
of no, I was going to say, is it a lack of communication? Maybe he doesn't really believe in marriage. She has obviously communicated that she has. So is it can it be a communication issue?
Well, remember we talked about this last segment, in that prior to getting serious about even moving in, women need to have this conversation with their partner. We need to have this conversation. So, what are your feelings about marriage? Is this relationship going anywhere? You need to know that.
Talk about marriage, talk about children, and talk about money. Yeah, those were the three I remember.
Big one. You have to talk about money. You have to talk about, are we going to have children? How many? Because he may decide he doesn't want any and you want 5. Right? You have to have that conversation. And before sitting around for 10 years hoping he won't leave, but I really want to get married, and I've said to you I want to get married, but I never asked you what your feelings were about getting married.
Now I'm gonna think like William here, because we were talking about this question before, and he said, well, why doesn't she just ask him?
Propose to him?
Yeah.
I think according to what she says, he knows I want to be married. She has asked him, obviously.
Okay.
And he obviously he says, well, you have to help save for the ring. Well, traditionally, and that's the other thing, as women, we want the gentleman who is getting married to us to buy the ring. I will buy my version of a male ring for you, and you're supposed to buy my engagement and my wedding ring. That's the truth. And yes, we want it both ways. We want to be treated as ladies
and be independent.
And we should be able
and
to
you
have
can
both. Yes.
And you can.
Absolutely.
So, going back to the idea of settling, and you called it cluttering up your life.
Yes.
Do you think that people are able to recognize when they're settling? I mean, how do you know that perhaps you're just not having difficulties or growing pains in a relationship, which all relationships, healthy and unhealthy, will have, or you're really just settling? How can you make that distinction?
If you are the one always having to give in, if you are the one that's always having to pacify things, if you're always afraid that this person will leave if I say something, or if I think something and I say what I'm thinking, then you are settling because you are the one making all the compromises. That person is not making any compromises. He's holding it over you that there are lots of women out there. If you leave, you're not going to find anybody else. And I'll tell you, you have a car, right? If you bought a car new, when the car starts giving problems, do you throw good money after bad?
You want to compare it to a car?
No, I'm serious. I'm saying it in terms of when you have, not just a car, a house. It becomes a money pit. You're putting money in, I'm putting money in, you're investing. That's not saying money. You're investing, you're putting more.
You try to
more
repair it. You're trying to fix it, And then after a while, when it really starts to cost you, or you realize I'm just spending more trying to fix it.
Right.
You do get rid of it.
You have to look and say, you know what? This isn't worth
I need another
the
car.
investment. I need another car. And relationships, I mean, I hate to put it to that, but it's a good
it makes a lot of
example.
sense,
In that, if you are you are constantly compromising, and you are giving and giving, it's really time to start looking at self and saying, you know what? I'm the one that's holding this relationship together. It's not a compromise anymore. It's not both of us putting in our 100%. And if I hear women say this, well, I have to put in 150%. Girl, me sorry for you. It's time to roll. No.
Why? And we're moving a little bit deeper. Why do you find this so common in Belize? We know this takes place a lot. We know marriages and relationships that take place where we know one or the other are settling. We can't always specify only women, but usually because we hear more women complain about it.
Yeah.
What do you find to be some of the reasons? Is it self-esteem? Is it society's pressures?
You see, we are socialized. We are socialized to believe that we need a man. That's how we're socialized as girls. We need a man to complete you. And oh my goodness, that movie with what was his name? You Complete Me.
Oh, the Jerry Maguire
Jerry
one?
Maguire movie. Women really bought into that nonsense, you know? That, oh, you need a man to complete you. No, you don't. We need to, and I've said this before, self-love. We have to first love ourselves before we can even be thinking about loving somebody else. Because if I'm broken, I'm bringing a broken person to you. So that relationship has no hope of getting off the ground, right? But it's so important that I'm working on me before I go out there and get into a relationship. And if I can't do that, then we're talking about self-worth, self-esteem, all those things that happened earlier in life. And so I'm bringing a broken me into a relationship. How can that possibly work? And then what if you get into a relationship with somebody else who is broken too? Right? Marriage then becomes a real issue. Because I'm marrying you because I need you. And whenever you feel that this thing that you need somebody, you can't function on your own independently in a relationship, because we need to be able to do that. Then, goodness gracious, please don't get married.
So what do you tell this lady?
I don't know if he'll ever marry her, because he sounds as if he has some commitment problems. He does not sound like somebody who can commit or is ready to commit. So will you wait around for 10 more years? Will you wait around for 5 more years? She's not getting any younger. And the opportunities of meeting her life partner, her soulmate, are limited, and they're constricted because she is waiting around with this person who's cluttering up her life. He's cluttering up your life, darling. Run.
Maybe it's time for a new car.
Yes,
Figure out if the car is giving you too much problems. I like that.
Stop throwing
It was
good money
funny.
after bad.